Love will chase you when you start to know your own worth and when you start to see it as natural for you to be attractive. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what to do to make that happen so that love or relationships chases you. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be showing you different ways that you can shift your self-image to start to see yourself as attractive, because the way it works is the way you see yourself is projected out to other people, and other people respond to you based on that energy you feel about yourself. And I've noticed this in my own life. I've seen other people as well that in my life that are very attractive people, but they may not know it themselves or think it themselves, and therefore when they go out into the world, it's almost like they aren't able to perceive of people being attracted to them because they're projecting out that they're not. So it's something that the more aware we become and the more we see ourselves and really value ourselves, the more that other people will value us as well. And it has to do with that awareness, and it has to do with these little energy dynamics that I'm going to share with you in this video that show you how to tap into your core authenticity and your core of the owning of your own vibration, your own energy. And when you do these things, you'll find that then you develop a very magnetic energy, and the people start to chase you because of what you are projecting out. It's not even really an inauthentic projection. It's just you being and understanding your own value, which then is something that's a contagious type mentality. The first part that's important to understand with this process is when it comes to being attractive, anytime we chase, we are automatically putting that person we are chasing outside of the realm of capability for us to really reach them or be, in a way, attractive to them. And I've shared this little story before, but I remember being with an old coworker, and we were looking at one of our other friends who we worked with, and she made a comment to me because she noticed that anytime he would chase different women he'd want to be with and chase being in a relationship with them, the more he would chase them, she made a comment and said, "Do you realize that when he's chasing, they're running away?" So imagine that you could be in an attractive state where other people are attracted to you, but the moment you chase someone else, in a way, then what you do is, you know that little, it's like almost like a carrot on a stick. It's like you got this stick, and then in a way, you're putting them vibrationally away from you. So no matter how far you walk, it's always going to be that far away from you, because vibrationally what you're saying is, this isn't in my life now. When you're chasing it, you're saying, I want that. I want to be in a relationship with that person. I want validation from that person. And what ends up happening is vibrationally we're saying, I don't currently have that person in my life. So we keep reaffirming that that person isn't in our life. And in my own life, I've realized that whether when it comes to abundance, whether it comes to relationships, whether it comes to me just wanting, whether it's to move into a house or whatever it is, the more I really, really want it, the more I end up resisting it. So the key to that has been to know that you are good either way. You are good either way. And that frame, when you have that frame going into it, it then lessens the importance a little bit. Remember, anything we make very, very important, we put on a pedestal and we create resistance around it. But when we know, hey, I'm good either way, it makes it so much easier. And I understand as well that it's like when you really, really want it, it's almost, it becomes a momentum. It's like you keep thinking about it, and that momentum keeps growing and you keep wanting it, and it becomes almost like a little bubble that just keeps on growing. But the key is knowing that when we do that, we end up creating resistance. So the frame about this is about really becoming aware as well of our current self-image, And for me, you know, this really changed in my own life. When I was 15 years old, some of you know my story, but when I was 15 years old, my dad divorced my ex-stepmom. My ex-stepmom was very controlling and physically, mentally, emotionally abusive. My brother and I had no freedom whatsoever, and even in high school, we weren't allowed to have friends up until when my dad divorced her when I was a sophomore in high school. Now all of a sudden, junior in high school, the last 2 years of high school, I was able to actually have friends and look the way I wanted to, because before, I had to always comb my hair back, tuck in my shirt, which was embarrassing going to school with your shirt tucked in, and I had to kind of be like a goody two-shoes. That's how I had to portray myself. in order to be accepted, or the way I was kind of controlled. Now, the interesting thing was my brother was 2 years younger than I. We go to high school in junior year. My brother's a freshman, I'm a junior. And we, in a way, weren't used to getting attention from other people because we always looked kind of like the goody two-shoes. We always had our hair tucked back and our shirt tucked in, so we were kind of like the nerds in a way. Now, junior year, I go in and all of a sudden I'm able to look the way I want. Doesn't mean I had like my pants sagging or anything, but then I was able to do my hair the way I want. My brother and I actually, we had like dyed hair, like highlighted hair, this is back in the day. I wouldn't do that now, but it was kind of, we ended up looking the way that we wanted. We ended up starting to develop a style, and the more we started to value the way that we looked and the way that we were, it was like then all of a sudden my brother and I were like the talk between a lot of the girls at school, because we looked completely different, and then people were starting to talk about us, like, oh, they actually look pretty cool. And then my brother and I started getting different attention. And the funny thing is the more we were like, oh, we weren't used to that. We weren't used to people treating us that way. We were always kind of like the nerds. The more we recognized that, it was like the more our own self-image changed. Not that our own self-image should be changed by outer circumstance, but this is before I knew about all this awareness information and stuff. This was, I was just kind of looking, I was like, oh, I guess my brother and I are able to get more attention. When before I also had braces, and there was just, it was something, it was going about it the opposite way. I was younger, but it was going at it from the outside in rather than the inside out. But the more I recognized and started to value myself because I was being validated with other people, the more attractive I then became to other people. It was an interesting thing, and I wasn't used to it at all. I wasn't used to it, and it was like really weird for me to get attention. However, that's what I noticed, is as my self-image changed, the way that I viewed myself, the more that those perspectives, the more I was in a way projecting that energy out, that awareness out, and the more value I felt there, the more that it then made people in a way chase me. I remember I had one of my first girlfriends after that, 15, I was like maybe 16 years old, and I had a girlfriend that I really liked, and she didn't necessarily treat me the best way. And she got kind of flack for it, she was kind of controlling in some ways, and she kind of got flack from other friends and stuff for certain things that happened, certain ways that she would talk to me and stuff, but I really liked her. And then what happened is I started to become friends with a new group in high school, and as I became friends with that new group, there was a girl in that group that I started to talk to and started to like, and then that other girl that wasn't treating me well, plus we broke up, but it was like I still really liked her. All of a sudden, once the energy shifts and I start being in this other group, and I then have other options in a way, and I'm attracted to someone else, she kind of feels that energetic pull and then starts calling me, and for a couple of weeks was trying to get me back, because the energy dynamic changed. I started to realize my own value, and I started to realize in a way I was more in abundance mentality, and then she felt that energetic pull and was trying to get back. So when you change this energy dynamic and you start to see yourself as attractive, other people will start to see you that way as well. Other people will then in a way chase you. But the key to this is first off becoming aware of your own energy, and then seeing how you are projecting yourself out. Now think of it like this as well. The more love you can feel within your own energetic field, if you could feel love and value yourself by noticing the positives you have in yourself, by recognizing your own worth, your own value, when you're doing your passion as well, this energetic field is much more electric, and what happens is that energy goes out and other people can feel it. Now think of it like this. The world is mirroring back, this is a mirror right here, the world is mirroring back the energy that you feel about yourself. Now some people, they will rely on external stimulus in order to know how they feel. Now the key is feeling that self-love now, knowing you're projecting that out in the world, it's a mirror, and these other people can feel that. But remember, if you're chasing them, you're putting them on that stick with the carrot on a stick, and you are chasing them, but they're always going to be a little bit further away. The key to this is seeing it as natural for you to be valued and for you to be in that feeling of self-love. Now, one of the main parts of this process that's important is understanding how to change your self-image. Now, changing your self-image has to do with, first off, becoming aware what your current self-image is. Now, when you look at a mirror, the key to this as well is not needing the mirror reflection in reality to change before you change. The way this works is when you're focused and you're looking at yourself in the mirror, how are you seeing yourself? And understand that then how you see yourself is also what is projected out. Now, the key is being aware that there is a difference between the image you see in the screen and the way that you view yourself, and you project out your own energy out when you go out into the world. So the reason I show this as a mirror is because it's a mirror reflection, and this reflection will not change until I change. Sometimes what people do is they'll wait for the mirror reflection to change, and they'll end up waiting and waiting and waiting. And that's what I did for a long time until I became aware that I have to not need the mirror to change prior. But the key to this is first off becoming aware of what that reflection is. Become aware of what your self-image is. How are you seeing yourself? There was an interesting book called Psycho-Cybernetics, and there was it's written by a plastic surgeon who noticed that when people would get plastic surgery, what would happen is it would take about 21 days, that's why a lot of people say 21 days to really make a powerful change, which is that 3 weeks. And it would take them about 21 days till they changed their own self-image, even if they had like a nose job or some, facial reconstruction. If they didn't change their self-image, then they wouldn't actually feel changed. The key to this is changing your own self-image, and if you see yourself as unattractive, if you see yourself as below other people, then that energy is projected out and other people are responding based to it. The first step to this process is first off, become aware. I'm going to put the text right here. Become aware of your self-image. That is the first step. What and how do you see yourself? Then the second step is, as you become aware of it, then what you can do is start to identify the new self-image. How would you prefer to be? That second step you'll see right there with the text. I'm also saying that because Daniel, the editor, he knows exactly where to put that. So the third step, so the second step is identifying what you'd like your preferred self-image to be. And then thirdly, it's about just deciding that's who you are now. And don't think about this as faking it till you make it or being someone that you're not. Realize that the way that we've been seeing ourselves may not be actually valuing ourselves. That's not who we are anyways. So the key to this is first off, identifying our current self-image. Secondly, identifying the way we prefer to be and how we'd love to value ourselves. And then thirdly, deciding like right now we are going to be that. Now, what can you do to bridge those two self-images? What can you do to bridge to then be that version of you prefer to be? It may require you doing things that show you your own self-love. It may require that you do things because you enjoy doing it, that you do and read books that you're passionate about. Certain areas of our life will link into other areas of our life. So if we are focused on that of if we're not doing our passion, for example, we may not feel as confident, but if we were to do our passion, that's saying I am worth it. And one of the most common beliefs there are out there is I am not enough. And I felt like I wasn't enough for a long time because of what I went through growing up. And even after being in relationships, I would keep playing out that pattern. But the key for me was reframing a lot of things that happened in the past and understanding our own vision of love and what it takes for us to be loved. What are our rules for love? And my old rules were, in order for me to feel love, I have to be getting approval from other people. I was kind of a people pleaser because the way that I was modeled love as a kid is I had to be a certain way, have my hair combed, and had to project myself in a certain way. My dad's a firefighter, so there's a certain way that, in a way, I was meant to kind of reflect onto him. And because of that, that ended up making me kind of a rebel as well. That changed my self-image too when I became a rebel. Because then I see myself as somebody that kind of pushes against rather than just goes along with the flow. And the key to this, though, is becoming aware of your own sense of what it takes for you to be loved. Because the more love you can feel inside now, the more you project that out and the more that other people can then feel that from you. But the key to this is seeing that as natural. Seeing it as natural for you to feel that love within. See it as natural for you to focus on your positive qualities. Seeing it as natural for you to go for your own passion. Becoming aware of your old self-image. Then deciding who do you really prefer to be and who are you really. because the old self-image is based on prior past agreements that may no longer serve. So the key to this is really changing that self-image. And if you haven't seen that Attracting Love meditation that I have, it's the most powerful meditation on my YouTube channel. And read the comments. There's so many people that say they attracted love from listening to that meditation for 21 days. So click just to read the comments. That'll increase the belief that you can do it as well. And then listen to that for 21 days and watch what happens. You'll begin to feel that worthiness, that self-love within, which then will begin to change the outer reality as well. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, I'll see you on the next one. Peace, much love, and namaste.